Barely morning anymore. Oh, what time is it? Oh, yeah, it's morning. 11:14 in the morning now. You can know what other people think because you too are a people. It's really that simple. Although we are all very individual, we are also very much alike. At times we may think we were somebody else. We may think we wish we were somebody else. We had somebody else's life. But the truth is there exists no other person we would rather be than exactly who we are, minus the faults. Yeah, to me that's an interesting phenomenon of the human condition is that we may toy with the idea we'd rather have somebody else's life, but no, we wouldn't have it any other way than exactly how it is, our lives, who we are. We've paid dearly to get to the point we are with our character. And we should, in our right mind, we do, want to be just who we are. God's been by our side the whole time, like that poem Footprints. If you read the poem Footprints and how God is carrying us through all the difficulties and the storms of life and helping us. If we trust Him, it may not seem like He's coming through and He's with us all the time, but He's there. Just to have a little bit of faith, a little bit of trust, and He'll be there. He'll follow through. He'll be with us every day, every moment of every day of the rest of our lives for all eternity. He's going to be loving on us. And our job is simple and easy, just to love on one another and seek the best for all humanity, indiscriminately, across the board. That's loving, that's caring. It is indeed a fact that I'm utterly repulsed by the roundly evil entity running America's money printing privilege operation. I am also repulsed that people call themselves Americans just because they were born here, yet won't speak out against this irrefutably, wantonly vile, money-scheming entity. Right, the money printers. Federal Reserve Bank. Show me anyone whom claims to not love money, and I'll show you a liar. Show me any self-professed righteous person whom doesn't also hate money, and I'll show you another liar. All righteous people that are truly righteous, they all get it. They all hate money for very sound, good reasons. Because they can see what it's done to us, what it's done to the hearts of men. It's defiled them. And it's so easy of a trap to fall into, this money love. Everyone wants protection for their own job, yet how very few care about protection for your job, for the jobs of others. Does anyone else see the perverse irony of politicians that raise your taxes and by extension their own taxes, then give themselves a pay raise to cover the new taxes they've imposed on the public, whom pay their salaries? We have a similar situation with property taxes. We must be empowered with the fact that the only legitimate government is we, all the people, not we, some of the people. As such, no tax should be at all a burden to the taxpayers, but only a benefit. Yeah, I mean, things have spun out of control, man. Things have gotten so un-American in terms of taxation. It's just ridiculous. Nobody knows what the government is. Nobody said, hey, before we have this conversation, we're bandying about all these very common terms. So, but we have no idea what's in your head. I say government, and what's in my head is entirely different from what's in your head. How can we have a fruitful discussion, an effective discussion, and progress? It's just not going to happen. So we've got to define terms, man. It's a first step to having a productive conversation. Of course, we all know that women, the female of our species, is really the natural boss, which explains why men are so utterly lost without one. Yeah, very true. A man cannot be happy. I stand by that. Men cannot be happy without a woman. That's why a man absolutely must be in love or seek to be in love in order to be happy. And that's where I'm at right now. And if nothing changed from today, I'm fine. Unrequited love, I got to suck it up, man. Hey, been plenty of women that wanted to get with me, and, I haven't reciprocated. And so what makes me think I don't deserve the same thing? So it's happened before. So, hey, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try my damnedest. I have to live with myself, so I've got to. And I'm in love, and I'm going to try my damnedest. That's that, because, the heart wants what the heart wants. Logical or not. It's right. It's love. It has pure motivation. And nothing, not all the powers of darkness can stop it from doing its best to seek what it really wants, to be in love. A man needs a woman. It's not up for debate, okay? Even the Bible says that, the first chapter, right? It wasn't good that man was alone. I think it's in the first chapter, pretty close, right? So he created the woman. He fashioned her out of the rib of the man, took his rib. So a man is literally like missing a part. That's how God made it. He made it that acute, that real for us, that you're not going to feel right unless you've got a beloved in your life. You're never going to really be nearly as happy as you could be. It's like you're like about 1% versus 100%. That's the wholeness the woman gives a man. Even though she's that little rib, it's just like the rudder is a tiny part of a ship, but it steers the ship. Do you understand? So a man without a woman, without a beloved, is like a rudderless ship, floundering. Outright fraud occurs daily as our currency, our money, is perpetually debased, worth less and less. This is due to outright theft by stealth via the cost of living tax, aka inflation. This scheme is perpetrated from on high. But because of, and on high I should define, I'm talking about not on high in terms of heavenly realms, on high in terms of worldly realms. It's the political class, these top politicians and the money printers, all these elitist scumbags, okay? That's what on high means. But because of malinformation, misinformation, willful ignorance, and complacency, we blame one another in our local communities for social, political, and economic injustices. When we are not culpable in our problems, we are not to blame for the misery is shoved down our collective throats from the top and from birth and from on high. These are the men of lawlessness that are doing this to us. That's written, that's a line from Scripture. The men of lawlessness are being exposed, and that's who they are. And that's this point in history is like never before with the internet. The men of lawlessness are being exposed, and that's who they are, man. It's just these are bad actors. They're enemies of humanity. That's it, man. They're devout. They're all in. They've decided that this is a fight to the finish. Unequivocally and categorically, I strongly contend that the only precept, the only commodity, the only substance, the only force, the only power, the only agency, the only entity, the only thing in this world stronger or more powerful than money, than Satan, is God, is love. Icing is good on a tasty cake, but by itself, empty calories. The same is true regarding romance. The love felt between a smitten couple is the cake, each other. The very most essential ingredient. Who said the heart wants what the heart wants? A wise person, to be sure. No truer, no more succinct statement has ever been made in history. I would add, and the heart is as stubborn as a mule with a big fat pain in its ass. Trying to be funny there. But it's true. The heart wants what the heart wants, logical or not. As long as it's really from the heart and it's pure, it's a good thing. Love is always a good thing. And concealed love, always remember, is worse than open rebuke. That's a put that in your pipe and smoke it kind of thought. It brings great joy to my heart, knowing with unwavering certainty that I'd rather have the girl of my dreams than all the wealth in the world. God, I just love the things that God puts in my heart. And your heart too. I mean, if you're a good, decent, upright person, man, just revel in the goodness God put in your heart. I'm so glad to be able to confidently, unequivocally state that. So I wouldn't trade all the wealth in the world for the girl of my dreams. When Jesus stated, "You must love your enemies," presumably whomever we perceive that to be, notice he didn't say, "You can love your enemies if you want." Somehow this makes sense. Somehow he will help us succeed at this daunting endeavor of loving our enemies. Yeah, it might sound stupid on its face, but we're always going to be learning more about what God is like and how he wants us to think. It's not hidden. It's there. It's clear. I mean, children can understand this. That's why we're all without excuse. If you consider yourself a grown, mature adult, we should understand this stuff, That this loving our enemies business, I mean, it's not, well, you can if you want, it'd be nice, but, it's all right if you don't. No, you must. We must do these things that seem impossible to a lot of people that like to think of themselves as decent, upright people. But, love my, no, it's right to hate them. Be honest, you hate your enemy, right? I hear this from Alex Jones all the time. Oh, no, you hate them, and for a good reason, No, you can't hate a living being and please God. You can't do that. Okay, they're made in the image and likeness of God. You don't know what's in their heart. You don't know how much they believe the lie. You don't know. You can't judge them. You can't condemn them to that point. There's a good reason why God said this thing. It's not a can if you wanna thing. You gotta do it. You gotta love your enemies. One of my favorite pastimes is using my brain. That is to say, think. Thinking is one of my favorite pastimes, using my imagination, right? Much like squirrels which bury nuts in their free time in order to get them through lean times, so too humans naturally instinctively would do a similar thing by storing a few bucks. But doing so for humans has gotten steadily and increasingly more difficult, and that by design, by manipulation from evil men. Just as a squirrel would instinctively become agitated, frustrated, and angry if denied the ability to store nuts, so do humans so do humans. The difference is humans can and do revolt eventually, as proven by empirical historical evidence. Over and over, keeping a critical mass of humans whom can still store a few nuts is essential to the controllers to circumvent revolt, the status quo, against the status quo. That's why they keep this critical mass of people that are well-heeled, that are unaffected by currency debasement and cost of living tax inflation. So they walk that tightrope, that fine line. That's what they've been very successfully, very powerful, this money. And they've got it down to a science. They know just what they're doing. How hard they can push the envelope, when to back off a little, when to push again, even get a little. So it's, 2 steps forward, 1 step backwards sort of thing is what they've done to us. Incrementally, gradually, pulling the wool over our eyes, duping us, stealing the wealth out from under our noses.